Copying the link now because I had started streaming a second ago or a minute ago and it started buffering real bad and I guess it kicked me off. So I'm putting the link back in the group. I don't know what's going on. Welcome back to the show. And yes, I do believe I know why you left religion and why you thought you left religion and you're still in religion. You just made your own religion. You get the video back up here too. Okay. Get my notes pulled back up. So we're in the process. We just got done defining religion, and it was defined by, well, we're going by the third definition here from Oxford Languages whenever I went in Google, and we're going with a pursuit or interest to which someone ascribes supreme importance, right? And once you start to place rituals and duties around that particular, what the hell screen was that? Oh, what was that? Around that particular interest, then that's when you created your own religion. That's why some people call it like sports. Oh my God. Sorry, y'all. Oh my God. This is why I hired somebody to do my tech stuff for me. Oh my God. So, starting from the beginning again, well, where we left off, we picked up talking about the definitions, and we're going with the third definition of, man, dang it. The third definition of religion. There we go. Definition, I'm pulling it in right now. Boom. So the third definition of religion from Oxford was a pursuit or interest to which someone ascribes supreme importance, right? So that could be sports, drugs, shoes, whatever you subscribe or ascribe supreme importance to. And then once you start creating rituals and practices around how you interact with the this thing that you ascribe supreme importance to, then that's when you start to get into again the religious space. You made a religion around it, the dogma, right? In sports, particularly the NFL, like Super Bowl weekend is like the biggest, non or secular religious event in America, right? And secular meaning that it's not based in a traditional religion. There's no supreme being ahead of this thought, this mind frame, this mental space, right? So religion isn't just church attendance. It's not just the pastors. It's not just rituals. It's all of that. You know, it was structured in an attempt to answer questions like why we're here. You know, what our purpose is, what is good, what is bad. Kind of like how we align ourselves, you know, in the world, right? Again, we talked about last episode how religion and state were essentially one for a time, and they realized that they had to kind of separate those two because corruption in one should not leak into the other. Um, and we know corruption is almost certainly bound to happen because we are human, right? So religion is humanity's attempt to organize the sacred. That's what I have in my notes here. Right? And so there's a difference between faith, which is a personal belief, a religion, which is a shared framework, an institution, which is an organized structure. So a lot of people have kind of tossed away the institution and the religion part of it, you know, the organized structure and the shared framework for their own personal frameworks, their own way of believing, right? Their own personal gods, their own personal truth, right? Okay. So why people leave the church? A lot of times you'll hear judgment. Again, that personal truth. Because to have someone else judge you by standards that you can't completely comprehend, that can seem tough, right? Take for instance, dress modestly. There are some people that believe you should be able to dress however you like to come into the church, and it's not it's not that way, right? And you make points of verses where come as you are. Yeah, but there's also verses that say dress modestly. So there's that dichotomy. So and that does lead to like again, there's corruption. We become corrupt pretty easily as humans. It's just what it is. That's the nature of who we are. And with that being said, a lot of times you might run into hypocrisy. People in the church say one thing and do another. They talk behind each other's back, right? Smile in your face type deal. Right? A lot of people felt that. Abuse of power. A lot of times we hear about pastors and and ministers that they're doing things with children, things of that nature, and then throwing around their power to get what they want sexually. Political entanglements. Uh, I don't think I've been too privy to a lot of those, but I'm pretty sure they happen. And performative spirituality. Like Drewski grew up, I don't say he grew up, but he had a sketch get real big, because he was, poking the bear in regards to that performative spirituality, right? And then ultimately you're feeling unseen and judged at the same time, and that kind of distracts you from the goal that you went to church to get to, right? And one of the things my aunt had told me when I was growing up is to worry about my salvation, and everybody else has to worry about their own salvation. So with that being said, that lets me know that the slingings and arrows, the judgment, they're going to judge you, but they're not the ones judging me. God is going to be the one that judges me in the church, that matter, right? In this or whatever your respective religion is, if it's Buddha or the Tao or Vishnu, whatever your respective belief is, that's who would be judging you, not the people in the organization or the group or the institution, right? So, and what we do as people, we generalize things. So we generalize heat, extreme hot with fire type deal. It's gonna hurt, pain. So when you get judged like that, and people get hurt in the church, a lot of times they associate the people with the belief, because those people associate themselves or identify themselves as agents of the belief, and we have got to learn to separate the agents of the belief from the belief itself. It's like we have to keep our identity as who we are. So we don't want to necessarily overgeneralize. And I'm guilty myself. I haven't been to a church in a church building, and maybe the last time was my dad's funeral was the last church building I went to. The time before that was another. So I'm guilty of not going to church as well, right? It's a completely human thing. But I don't go to church because I was hurt. I don't go to church because I'm of the other group. Again, I'm not getting anything from the pastor. I haven't found a pastor or church I can get anything from. Kind of with humility, I say I've outgrown about, right? And look at my notes. That's exactly where it goes. So there's a difference between God and the building. That's what I was saying, or like my aunt told me. Your salvation is yours. And even in the book, it says whenever two people gather in his name, that's church. So church is not the building per se. So I like what I have in my notes here. It says God, if you believe in him, whichever God or deity you believe in, superpower, the supreme being. If you believe, they're not confined to any space. They're everywhere, or wherever they are respectively, right? And let's see. So this right here is in my notes is kind of like what I say all the time. Just remember, people are people, and trust me, believe me, it's a very hard. It's a difficult principle to live out in real life because it gives people the freedom to be who they are without you judging them as something other than human. I think that's why I say. So religion can become a principality because religion does have principles, right? The practices and beliefs, or the practices and the what's the word I'm looking for? Rituals that you create around how you believe, right? So I've spoken with a lot of people, and we all agree that religion at its best, does offer meaning. It can project you or direct you into a path forward that is good, not only for you but for the world, for the people in your area, and it can help you restrain your ego. But also, most things in life are a double-edged sword. Religion, at its worst, also demands loyalty over truth. You can become a zealot, right? Fanaticism. It replaces disorder for obedience or discernment for obedience. Right. So instead of actually, that's kind of like what we have going on with the government too, or with with the government. So instead of actually being critical thinking and putting pieces together, we're going off of what we're being told you should do or how we should react. Right. And religion at one time was also used to protect our people as well. So The line right here says anything meant to guide you can start governing you, and it's that's part and parcel of what I say. Uh, Either slave yourself or you're going to be slaved. There's no way around it. And people are like, "Oh, you mean slavery? Oh, you promote slavery." And I'm not promoting slavery, but what I am saying is you are going to be slaved. Whether you're a slave to your own desires, someone else's desires, whether you're a slave to a purpose, a goal, your family, or yourself, you're going to slave somewhere. But you're doing it right anyway. That's what I believe. All right, let me take a look at the notes here. I think that just reiterates the point. Well, I think that's actually good. So let's like we do in the group on Facebook. Let's ask questions, right? So, do you still believe in right and wrong? I know I do personally. Let's see, do you believe some things are sacred? I really ask yourself, what would you consider sacred? Do you still search for meaning, or do you just get up and go live your day, or do you do something else, in between that spectrum? Uh, do you pray? That's a good question. Ooh. So religion, at its best, again, can create community, shared language, and give structure. Um, but you have to be able to grow within that structure, or grow into it. A lot of times, people feel like they're expected to be righteous right off the bat, and I felt that I felt it and seen it, hell. And that is difficult because what's being asked is difficult from a human perspective. I haven't eaten all day, y'all. So bear with me. We are almost done here. So let's see. Got some questions here. The final line. Okay. So the last little bit of this is the discernment part. A lot of you left religion because your discernment told you something is off. A lot of you can't put your finger on it, but you know something was off. And the ones that you can put your finger on it, a verse in a chapter and verse, then you know what I'm talking about. And it does create that tension because for those who want to believe, again, if you really want to believe, you want to go to church and be with other believers. You don't want to feel judged or be outcast uh, for trying to be the believer you're intending to be. And then to see seasoned believers not act in a way that you perceive a believer should be acting, well, I can understand your hesitance to continue associating with that. So, with that being said, we're gonna figure out next episode what the state can do about reining in the reins of religion in society. Thank y'all for joining me. Call me Dez. dominate your day, dominate your night. And remember, people are just gonna be people. Have a good one. We out.
Yeah. I'm in the zone, energy grown. Truth on the line when the mic gets shown. Light through the dome, we sparking the tone. Deeper than convo when mindsets wrong. Crew by my side, no mask, no clones. We break cycles and cast these stones. Heart of a lion, calm of a sage. Every word therapy, life on the page. Wanna talk about it? Yeah, we talk about it. Soul, pain, truth, we gon' walk around it. Light in the dark, yeah, we found our sound. Comateurs in the crew, we hold that ground. Wanna talk about it? Yeah, we talk about it. Soul, pain, truth, we gon' walk around it. Light in the dark, yeah, we found our sound. Comateurs in the crew, we hold that ground, that ground, that ground. Stories bleed, but the healing sweet. Real ones build when the real ones meet. Thoughts with the world don't tweet. Turn mics to mirrors to the pain retreat. From Killeen to the dream, we shift that scene. Big talk, black love, afro sheen. No gimmicks, just growth, you can feel that steam. Every episode, another self-esteem. Wanna talk about it? Wanna talk about it? Soul, pain, truth, we gon' walk around it. Light in the dark, yeah, we found our sound. Comateurs in the crew, we hold that ground. Wanna talk about it? Wanna talk about it? Soul, pain, truth, we gon' walk around it. Light in the dark, yeah, we found our sound. Comateurs in the crew, we hold that ground. That ground, that ground. Every voice got a reason. Every story got a spark. Welcome home. Yeah, just wanna talk about it. With Comateurs in the crew.